Good afternoon. Welcome back here at ESCMID Global TV. I am Judith Cohen. I am still your host here at ESCMID Global TV, and we have just begun our final afternoon of the final day of this year's Congress. But we will kick off this afternoon with no one less than the awardee of the ESCMID Lifetime Achievement Award. I have Professor Evelina Tacconelli here sitting next to me. You are Professor in Infectious Diseases in Verona, Italy, and a well-known member within ESCMID and diverse committees. And I was just looking at all your achievements during your lifetime so far. And the list is long and distinguished. So congratulations first on receiving this very prestigious award from the society. And I would just love to have a little chat with you so our viewers can also get a little bit of a notion of all the important work that you have been doing in your lifetime as a scientist and a professor in ID, but also your future plans, of course, we're really interested to hear. So is it safe to summarize that your career is built around antimicrobial agents, resistance, and infections?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I would say even lovely summary. So, yeah, I mean, thanks for your nice words. It's always unexpected when you receive an award, I guess.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely the majority of my achievements were focused on the fight against antimicrobial resistance. But my love for infectious disease and probably my training in what science means and how science must inform clinical decision making was coming from HIV research.
Oh, that's where you started off.
I started there because I got the impression that there was, I mean, we are talking about the 90s.
Yeah.
And so during the 90s, several young members of community were suffering tremendously for the HIV disease, and we did not have any information about it. So for a young person dreaming about being useful as a medical doctor, that was very much the place to be. And within that framework and colleagues and all the teams I met in my life, I learned how much important it is to take decision for your patients only on really scientific-based decision making.
Yeah.
And the risk today is that regardless all the information we have today, all the possibility for science, we have a tendency, I must admit, to take decision based on personal opinion.
On personal opinion.
Yeah, and I think this is really
not on the evidence.
Not on the evidence. I think part of the medical community still believes that years in working
counts more than
a seriously done study. So, and I think antimicrobial resistance is one of these examples. We could do a lot, but indeed we are far away of completing all the studies we would need, and not because we do not have patients. So why?
Yeah. Because what do you feel is one of the largest challenges with regard to the key issues around AMR?
I think that the risk we have today, that we target too high intervention, and indeed we know very well what will be working. It's a question of education. It's a question of proper infection prevention and control. It's a question of how you build up your guidance in providing therapy.
Is the knowledge and the awareness there, you believe?
Probably for the community, yes, but would not be very, I mean, probably somebody would not agree, but I don't think it's the community that would make the difference. So obviously community must be informed, but I think here the real issue are medical doctors. It's the way you prescribe. It's the way you prefer to overprescribe instead of prescribing appropriately, because maybe prescribing appropriately could run a bit more risk than prescribe whatever you have. And
For the doctor
for the
personally,
doctor
and for
personally.
his reputation or her
Yes.
reputation.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So until we do not convince medical doctor that it's not a choice what you prescribe, but it's just the last moment of several decision making that start with visiting the patient, hearing the history of the patients, and that would give you the majority of the information you need. And probably if you do all these steps in the proper way and you work in a hospital that provides you with the right number of nurses,
Yeah.
that provides you with the right room. So if all the
Yeah.
things that we know already working,
Yeah.
then probably you need also a rapid diagnostic test that costs a lot of money. Or maybe you need
Yeah.
a reserve antibiotics. It's wonderful that we have so many companies working on that, but
Yeah.
that is the last step. You cannot
Yeah.
arrive there if all the rest is not done properly.
No.
That's
And that's probably the case for high income countries, but the lower and middle income countries, they battle their own issues, right? Concerning AMR. They first need resources probably before,
But you know, the
Yeah.
fight on antimicrobial resistance is
Yeah.
even different within the same city,
Yeah.
within the same region. So it's very much depending
Yeah.
on where you work, which is your population, which type of screening you have when people they arrive to the hospital, how your doctors are educated, but how you make controls. One of
Yeah.
the issues in medicine today in several countries, nobody check. If you do not have audits
Yeah.
on the way antibiotics are prescribed and you give them feedback and
Yeah.
you participate with implementation science
Yeah.
in the action of improving
Yeah.
antibiotics. And I'm afraid that we are running towards very costly intervention without going before to what is already there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you also, I'm not sure if you served or are still actually currently serving as a consultant for the WHO, the ECDC, and the EMA on this matter on antimicrobial resistance, among others, and infection control, of course. Is that something that is still ongoing? Are you still in a consultancy role?
So the
There?
consultancy is on specific projects.
Okay.
So at the moment, I'm not having open project with ECDC. Still in several boards with EMA and several projects with WHO, and the majority of them are very much related to improving antibiotics and providing some lesson learned from the COVID-19 pandemic preparedness, where we were completely unprepared.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, as I mentioned, the achievements list is long and distinguished. What are you currently focusing on, and what would you like to focus your work on in the upcoming, let's say, 5 years?
So I'm
Or are you
very
done now
lucky.
you have the award?
So no, I'm very lucky. I work in several places and countries, and I had always wonderful team. So when we talk about the award, it's never one person show. So it's all your ideas is coming from brainstormings with young people, with other seniors. So it's very much representing the effort of a team. So what we work today a lot is improving alignment of cohort data from different countries with randomized clinical trial. So we do believe that there is a new idea of clinical study that includes several components that at the moment are completely spread all over the different lines of funding and research. And this is a huge problem because you miss a lot of information just because you cannot link data. And from patients' perspective, why should I lose a good evidence just because I cannot link numbers and having most important evidence from different countries. That's very difficult at the moment in Europe. So we are trying to use what we have learned with COVID-19 and to move the COVID-19 lesson to the antimicrobial resistance fight. The population are the same. You know, it's always the underserved population paying more. So it's very much the immunocompromised, the elderly population,
high risk
the
group.
vulnerable high risk. So, and they're still paying if we think about hematological patients, oncological patient transplant, they still pay something to the COVID-19, but obviously luckily it's in a minority of the population, but still they pay. So what we should do is just, the lesson is learn. Just use whatever good you did during COVID-19 and bring it into the IMR fight.
Yeah, yeah. So you're really contributing to tightening the networks and making sure that there's a sort of common level of preparedness and knowledge and education in order to progress forwards.
Yeah. I think I always like that.
Yeah.
One of the major issues is that people, they do not collaborate. This is in particular with infectious disease and clinical microbiologists. There was very frequently, and still in some countries, this tendency, these are my patients, these are my data.
Yeah.
And indeed, you do not have anything yours.
Yeah.
So the science is for the public, and the science is from patients and for patients.
Yeah.
So we are working a lot on that, and we had an amazing good experience during the COVID-19, and this has been also reachable thanks to European Commission officer, to EMA, to several WHO, to several ECDC, several major stakeholders doing that. Then if you ask me what I would like to do at my age, going back. So, so what I mean, I think the research today is getting very, very difficult. So probably the best part of the life of a researcher is when you have your first study, small enough that you can follow from the first day to the last one, and you know everything about that study, and you see the patients enjoying the result. That I miss a lot, because I still do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean, we run today in my university 31 European projects through different funding. It's a lot, and so you cannot really go through, and you lose a bit also of relationship with the member of your team, and this is never good because you cannot know everybody as you did 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's lonely at the top.
Yeah, okay, that's I mean, I do not consider myself at the top.
No.
But yes,
but
in my place, obviously, I'm the director.
Overview, and then you lose touch with the people in the trenches, probably. Yeah. So is that something that you would like to work on, or is it's a fact of life?
No, I think I can work on it. I mean, I'm difficult for me to accept things as it is. So if I think it should be changed, I try to change. Yeah. So I will be going through that part of your life when you reconsider everything and think if it's worthy to keep going global, or maybe you can still contribute, but from different perspective, probably even more patients-oriented and less political strategic-oriented, because that is the risk when you get too much into global perspective.
Yeah.
And so still believe that coordination and among different countries and population is really the key. Yeah. But probably you can also work on different projects.
There are so many contributions to be made. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
I'm sure you will succeed also at that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Evelina, for coming here and giving us just a little insight in your mind and looking back on your career and looking forward. So thank you so much for your time.
Very much my pleasure.
Congratulations again.
Thanks.
On your award. Thank you all for watching us. We will be taking a short break, and we will be back at 2 o'clock when we will be welcoming 4 of the ESCMID Global artists. So we will be showing their artwork and asking them for the stories behind creating their artwork. So it's really interesting. So join me at 2 o'clock. See you then.